for Racing Radio. I am Tame for Racing Sharon, and joining me for today is Jay Hughesman. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Thank you, Sharon. And it is time for the big boys. And I say boys, at this point we don't have any female drivers, but we could because there's some coming. But the big dogs, how about that? On the track at Darlington. And I'll just go ahead and throw this out there to start with. We got 38 teams this weekend. I like to see that. Nobody has to go home, but there's also more than the 36 charters. Austin Hill in the number 33, and then J.J. Yaley in the number 44. So I like to see that.
I like to see that too. We are here to preview for the NASCAR Cup Series, their race at Darlington. And so with that, Jay gave you a little bit of the details. I'm going to give you a little bit more of the details, and we'll get into that. All right, the next race for the Cup Series is the Goodyear 400 at Darlington Raceway. Again, it is a 1.366 mile asphalt oval, and they'll be racing this Sunday, April the 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Coverage is on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Deportes at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as radio coverage is found on MRN and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90. Now, they will race a distance of 400.2 miles over 293 laps. Stage one is 90 laps. Stage 2 is 95 laps, and the final stage will end on the last lap, which is 293. So again, there's a lot to cover here, but let me give you where you can see practice and qualifying, and that will take place on Saturday, April the 5th. On radio coverage is on MRN and SiriusXM at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, but you'll find it on Amazon Prime is where you'll see the practice and the Busch Light pole qualifying. And again, that's at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The race is Sunday at 3 p.m., as we had indicated earlier. So there's a lot of storylines and insights for the NASCAR Cup Series, Jay. Let's go ahead and get started with that.
Well, we just came off the oldest track on the circuit, but Darlington Raceway certainly is historic as well when it comes to NASCAR, as this weekend marks the 128th running of a NASCAR Cup Series race at the Darlington Raceway. The track is celebrating its 75th anniversary, going from 1950 to 2025.
And that is going to make this weekend's Throwback Weekend very exciting, knowing that Darlington is having their 75th anniversary. Now, Toyota has won the pole for the last 4 Cup races at Darlington. That's tied for their longest streak at any one track. The Darlington record for the most consecutive poles is 5 straight by Mercury. That takes us back a ways. That was from 1975 to 1977. A feat Toyota can tie this weekend. So we'll see if on the 75th anniversary, Toyota can tie that record.
Nothing against Toyota, but I'd kind of hate to see that record be taken away, as you don't see Mercury in the record books or even brought up a whole lot anymore. So, exactly. But that is cool to see. A total of 56 drivers have won the pole in the NASCAR Cup Series at Darlington Raceway. Of those 56 pole winners all time, 7 are active this weekend. Joey Logano being the first, who has 2 poles. He swept in 2022. Drivers that have had 1 pole, Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick from 2024. Christopher Bell in 23. In 2019, it was William Byron. Denny Hamlin in 2018. And then going back in history, back to 2015, is Brad Keselowski.
Okay. Joey Logano actually leads all active drivers in the Cup Series in poles at Darlington Raceway with his 2. As Jay just mentioned, he swept the pole in the year of 2022.
Now, 2025 is the first season since 2019 there wasn't a repeat pole winner through the first 7 races. That's only occurred 4 times in the modern era. And the modern era is 1972 onward. So we've had it happen in 1998, 2014, 19, and now here in 2025.
Okay, this year is also the first time since 2018 that 5 different teams have won the pole in the last 7 races of the season. So we'll see if that continues this week at Darlington.
Now, 18 different drivers have finished in the top 10 at Darlington in 2024, and that Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin finished in the top 10 in both. So they're highlighted of those 18 drivers, and Denny Hamlin's on a hot streak right now.
Yes, he is. There are 9 different drivers that finished in the top 5 at Darlington last year. Chase Briscoe was the only driver to finish top 5 in both 5th and 1st.
And Denny Hamlin mentioned his momentum. He's last week's winner at Martinsville, leads all active Cup drivers in wins with 4. Runner-up finishes, he also has 4. Top 5s, he's got 13. Top 10s, 18. And average finishes, 8.2. Those are his statistics for Darlington Raceway. It looks like that momentum might continue for Mr. Hamlin.
Well, we'll see. Time always tells the rest of that story. Okay, now the last 9 Darlington Raceway Cup Series races were won by 9 different drivers. The record at the track is 11, and that came between 2006 and 2016. So we'll see if that happens, if they can keep that going.
And if you're looking to possibly pick one driver, this is an interesting thing to look at. Every winner since 2006 at Darlington has had a minimum of 100 career Cup Series start. It's track too tough to tame, so you got to have some experience to be good.
This is not a track that features rookies.
Not normally, for sure.
Okay, now 6 drivers have earned their first Cup Series win at Darlington. 4 of them got their only Cup victory. Regan Smith in 2011, Lake Speed in 1988. In 1980, it was Terry Labonte, Larry Frank in 1952. In 1961, it was Nelson Stacy and Johnny Mance in 1950. So that gives you a little bit of history of Darlington Raceway.
And it told me I'm old because there was one I knew having watched, a couple I knew as far as names, and then there were some that, that was new names and time frames for me. So now 9 drivers have snapped 50-plus race winless streaks at Darlington, and that includes both 2024 races. That's tied for the most among non-drafting tracks with Phoenix. So if you're Brad Keselowski, I'll just throw him out there. Might be the spot to break that winless streak. Or Kyle Busch.
Or Kyle Busch, yeah. Now, Christopher Bell can become the first driver since Jeff Gordon, who did this in 1997, to win 4 of the first 8 races of the season. Bell's best finish at Darlington in the Cup Series is 3rd, and that came in September just last year.
Now, of the 55 NASCAR Cup Series Darlington race winners, we got 8 that are active. Already highlighted Denny Hamlin with his 4, 2021, 2020, 2017, and then going back all the way to 2010. Eric Jones and Brad Keselowski each have a pair. Jones came in 22 and 19. Brad's 2024 and 2018. I'm kind of liking Brad's name popping up more and more here. The other one to pick up a win in 2024, Chase Briscoe. In 2023, it was Kyle Larson and William Byron, teammates from HMS. And then in 2022, it was Joey Logano. And we mentioned it, Sharon, Kyle Busch's victory all the way back to 2008. He's the sentimental favorite, I'll say that.
Yes, that would be a very amazing win for Kyle Busch if he's able to pull that off. Okay, now the deepest in the field that a Cup race winner has started at Darlington Raceway is 43rd. Johnny Mance did that in 1950. The inaugural NASCAR Cup Series event held at the historic Speedway, or Raceway, I should say. NASCAR started in 1948, so it's not as old as Martinsville, but it's pretty close.
It is. I don't know if it ranks second, but certainly on that list of close. Now, that was the history of ever, the deepest in the field that an active race winner has started at Darlington. It's a little bit tighter. That's 18th by Kyle Larson, and that was in September of 2023.
Now, the final green flag stretch with less than 17 laps in only one of the last 9 Darlington races. So I don't expect too many green flag runs or very long green flag runs for this race.
And you got to love the competitiveness as we do. The last 3 spring Darlington races had a lead change in the final 10 laps. Again, you got to stay till the end.
Okay, and 3 Cup Series races have ended with a last lap pass in 2025. That's tied for the most ever through 7 races. They're tied with the 2014 season. So that's how long it's been since we've seen this happen. And it's been kind of exciting to watch that happen this year.
It has been, and with that, a little bit more history in the modern era, 1972 to the present, the NASCAR Cup Series, there have been 3 races at Darlington Raceway that were decided on the final lap. April of 1979, March of 1987, and March of 2003. And if you don't know that 2003 race, you want to go back and watch it, because I'm pretty sure that's Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven.
That was fun to watch. Yes. You don't want to miss that one. Okay, the driver who led the most laps finished in 25th or worse in 4 of the last 5 races at Darlington. So that's a stat that you can keep your eye on this weekend. Hopefully drivers might not want to lead the most laps this week at Darlington.
Well, I was just thinking of, that don't make no sense. But again, I go back to it's a track too tough to tame. So even while you're taming it, it can bite you.
Yes.
Now, last fall's Southern 500 had 26 lead changes, and that's the most for a Darlington race since all the way back in 2008.
That's amazing. That's a lot of lead changes, but it just shows you how talented these drivers are. Now, a driver swept the stages at Darlington 7 times, but only once did those drivers go on to win. Martin Truex Jr. is the only driver who swept the first 2 stages and then went on to win. That happened in May of 2021. So kudos to Martin Truex Jr.
Indeed, that was impressive there of only having 7 to begin with, but his only with the victory. Now, 8 of the 12 stage winners at Darlington in the next-gen car. Oh, man, this is another rough one.
Yes.
Let me go back so I get all this. 8 of the 12 stage winners at Darlington in the next-gen car have finished 25th or worse.
Well, that makes you want to not win a stage.
Yeah.
But they want those points, so I think they're still going to be going after it.
That's true.
Okay, now 2025 is the first year in the stage era when a driver hasn't won more than 2 stages through the first 7 races of the year. So that's just another perspective on that. So interesting stat there.
And we have been talking about how much that has been split up this year. I think Kyle Larson is the one that does have the multiple. So very interesting there indeed. Now we got 28 drivers, though, finished on the lead lap in last year's spring Darlington race. And that, too, is tied for the most ever at Darlington, going back to September of 2015.
Okay, now Joey Logano is one of only two defending champions without a top five finish through the season's first 7 races. Bill Elliott was in that same position going back to 1989. So it's been a while since that's happened. And Joey Logano wishing it would be a little bit different.
And he was just able to get his name off the top 10 list as he was on that up until last weekend at Martinsville. So one step at a time. Now, last year's championship 4 drivers have combined for only 10 top 10 finishes so far in 2025. We've been talking about Joey Logano, but all 4 of the championship drivers not exactly having the strongest start. That is the fewest through 7 races in this elimination era. That's a new term. So for the elimination era history, that ranges from 2014 to 2024. So
the last 10 years.
10 years, yep. That's odd. We've been talking a lot about Joey Logano, but there you go. All 4 championship 4 contenders last year, not the strongest to starts to the season this year.
Truly a very interesting stat there. Now, 3 full-time teams have not had a DNF yet this year. So that's kind of cool. Hendrick Motorsports, we kind of talked about this before last week as well. Hendrick Motorsports hasn't had a DNF yet. IAC Motorsports, which was previously, Jay mentioned it last week, JTG Doherty Racing, and Legacy Motor Club. No DNFs for those 3 race teams.
You know, I know they're a top team, but having 4 teams, it kind of surprises me that Hendrick Motorsports is on there. And I'm impressed by Legacy Motor Club as I've been. They've had a good start to their season. So, and then you got Hayek in the middle. That's great. Hopefully we see more of that from all teams. Looking at lead changes, it kind of been still on that. The 210 lead changes in 2025. It's the second most through the first 7 Cup Series races. There was 220 back in 2011. I remember that season when we had a lot of lead changes up front.
Yeah, that's a long time record there too. Now, 175 lead lap finishers in 2025 are the most ever through the first 7 races of the season. So that's the most ever. So that's pretty amazing. I've been saying that this is the heyday for the next gen car, and that's an example of them having really good success.
Well, it is for most of the teams when it comes to Ford not getting the finishes. I talked about Joey Logano. And Josh Berry accounts for 2 of Ford's 5 top 5 finishes here in 2025, and that includes their only win.
Yes. Now, Ford's 5 top 5s are the fewest that they've had since 1986. That's incredible. And their 18 top 10s are the fewest since 2016 at 12. So they've got 5 top 5s. Wow.
I was going to say, I've said I felt like they were struggling this year, and those stats back it up. I did not realize it was that dire, honestly.
Yeah, it's almost sad.
Yeah. Our 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano, is 260 laps led in 2025. That's the most for a driver through the first 7 races without the top 5 finish that we've been talking about. And that goes back to 2006. Greg Biffle led 404 before getting a top 5.
Amazing. Okay, Ty Gibbs earned 33 fewer stage points in 2025. He's had a little bit of a slow start here, and that's through 7 races compared to 7 races in 24. That's the biggest decline among all of the drivers. And again, I almost feel bad for Ty Gibbs. His season has not started out well this year.
Well, I'll try and remember to throw a note into that later on for improvement for the Ty Gibbs team. But on the flip side of that, that was the decline amongst highest decline. On the other side, Bubba Wallace's 69 stage points through 7 races in this season. That's his most at this point in a season, and it is an increase of 40 points.
That's amazing. Ryan Blaney is making his 350th career start this weekend. So if you're at Darlington, be sure to congratulate him on that. 3 drivers won the 350th start. Lee Petty did it at Martinsville in May of '59. Bill Elliott did it at Rockingham in March of 1992. And Tony Stewart did it at Talladega in October of 2008. So will Ryan Blaney win his 350th start at Darlington?
Well, and Blaney does drive a Ford, so this is why I don't not sinking too low on him, but he ranks first in the 2025 in stage points earned at 74, which is 38% of his total points for the season have come from stages. So they're running good and running up front. Just got to be able to close the deal and get the finish.
Yeah, it's been disappointing at the finish for sure. Now, 4 full-time drivers have yet to score stage points in 2025. Justin Haley, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith, and Cody Ware. So kind of amazing that a couple of those are rookies, but yeah, they're going to be looking for some stage points as the second half of the season comes along for sure.
And if you put those two together, there's a theme there where they are in points. Talk about Ryan Blaney being up in points and them not. So there's something to that.
There definitely is.
Now, Tyler Reddick has 3 top 3 finishes in the next gen car at Darlington Raceway, which is the series most, indeed, because I think we're only in season number 4 with the next gen car. So Darlington, Tyler Reddick, and the next gen car matching up real well. Keep an eye on him.
Be a driver if you're looking for a fantasy driver.
I agree.
All right. Were you going to say something, Jay?
I was just going to say, like you mentioned, keep an eye on him. I was going to say, look for him. He'll be up along the wall for sure at Darlington.
Yes. Now, Kyle Busch has finished runner-up at Darlington 3 times since he last won there in 2008. So he's had some good finishes at Darlington, just hasn't been able to seal the deal. And we'll see if he can seal that deal this weekend.
Well, to help encourage that, he's in a Chevrolet, and they have won only 3 of the last 16 Darlington races, but all 3 wins came in the next-gen car. So this may be their time to show in the next-gen car.
Well, you mentioned Denny Hamlin as well as a driver to keep your eye on at Darlington. He's led 19 of the 25. He's led laps in 19 of the 25 Darlington starts, including the last 10. That's the 5th longest streak at Darlington all time. So another Denny Hamlin stat coming up next.
And it is. He leads all drivers with 298 laps led in 2025. But that is the fewest by the driver leading the most laps after 7 races in a season since Richard Petty's 269 in 1964.
Amazing. 2 talented drivers there. Now, Kyle Larson leads all drivers in laps led in the next-gen car at Darlington Raceway. He has 392 laps out front at that short track.
As an organization, though, it's JGR, Joe Gibbs Racing. They've led 37% of the laps at Darlington in the next-gen car, but also then have more DNFs than top 5 finishes.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. Oh, bad.
Yes. Okay, now let's go back to Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace ranks 2nd in laps run in the top 5 and in the top 10 for the 2025 season for the Cup Series. So that's another great stat for Bubba Wallace.
And he is one. It's good to see the season he started with. Another one is Ryan Preece. He's got 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, and 43 laps led, along with 23 stage points through these 7 races to start the season. Those are all career best for Ryan Preece.
Yes, he's had some very good runs. I'm very excited for Ryan Preece being at RFK Racing. I think that's going to be a great move for him. The defending 24 Darlington Race winner, Brad Keselowski has yet to finish inside the top 10 this season. His best finish in 25 was the 11th place finish at Las Vegas. But there you go, Jay. He is the defending winner of this race. So can he go back to back? Maybe.
I was going to say, tough season, maybe not, but defending winner gives you hope. So we'll see how Brad comes out this weekend. Now, Eric Jones, this is interesting. Eric Jones, Toyota in 2019 and a Chevrolet in 2022, now back in a Toyota though, is the only active driver to win in more than one manufacturer at Darlington. But former active, yeah, that one I had to read that through a second time just to make sure I understood it. That is interesting. Now, former active winners, Chase Briscoe was in a Ford in 2024, Kyle Busch in a Toyota in 2008, currently drive for different makes than what they previously won in, so could add their name to that list with Eric Jones.
I think that's a really interesting stat there. Hendrick Motorsports from 95 to 96 sweep, and in 2003 to 2004 sweep. Richard Childress Racing in 1989 to 1990 sweep are tied for the most consecutive wins in the Cup Series at Darlington with 3 straight each. Winning consecutively at Darlington is a feat. It doesn't happen very often, as indicated there.
You took the words out of my mouth there. I'm like, you're talking about 2 top organizations, and that's the biggest streak they can put together is 3. That tells you how tough Darlington is to tame. Now, in the NASCAR Cup Series at Darlington Raceway, the outside front row, or the second starting position, has produced the second most wins all time at 19. And that's a winning percentage of 15%. And that includes this race last season, which is where Brad Keselowski came from.
Okay. And then 5 NASCAR Cup Series races have resulted in an overtime finish at Darlington. 2005, 11, 12, 14, and the last time it happened was 2023.
Next one, as I read it, put me in a little bit of a panic, but I'm good now, and it got in my head. But Darlington Raceway has hosted races on Mother's Day 5 times, including the last 4 spring races at the track, 07 and then 21 through 24. This season, Kansas Speedway will host its first NASCAR Cup Series race on Mother's Day, which is May 11th in 2025. And I knew that Mother's Day wasn't this weekend, but when I started reading that, I was thinking, oh man, is it Mother's Day? I got to call my mom.
Not yet, Jay. We're still in April.
Hey, I already called and wished him a happy anniversary, and that isn't until July, so I messed that one up.
Okay, going down to the latest track storylines for Darlington Raceway. Darlington Raceway announced this week that the family of the Wood Brothers Racing team will serve as the Grand Marshals for the Goodyear 400 this Sunday. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary alongside the track Too Tough to Tame. The pioneer team of the NASCAR Cup Series will say the most famous words in motorsports ahead of the main event at the official throwback weekend of NASCAR. So 2 very historic things with NASCAR, Darlington Raceway and the Wood Brothers Racing being celebrated for their 75th anniversaries this weekend.
Well, and that's certainly a pairing of some long-term history, but for more recent fans, Darlington Raceway also announced this weekend that NASCAR Hall of Famer Carl Edwards will serve as the honorary starter for the Goodyear 400 on Sunday, the flagship event of the official throwback weekend for NASCAR. Now, Edwards notoriously won the coveted 2015 Southern 500 to close out the inaugural throwback weekend at the track Too Tough to Tame. I did not know he was the winner of that first throwback weekend. How about that?
That's pretty cool. And it is going to be nice that he's going to be the honorary starter as well. It's always good to see Carl Edwards at the track. And I don't know if you know, but they announced Carl Edwards, I think, is going to be working with Dale Jr. on Prime for those 5 races as well. So I thought that was really good news as well.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love hearing from Carl Edwards.
Yes, so we'll see a little more of him. Now, on April 3rd, in advance of Sunday's Goodyear 400, defending race winner and the 2012 NASCAR Cup Series champion Brad Keselowski was on hand to visit patients in the children's wing of McLeod Hospital. He then headed to Darlington Raceway to greet fans and take photos with the track laps for charity participants in Victory Lane. So Brad Keselowski's already been busy over at Darlington Raceway, and that all took place yesterday.
We also got another one announcement that they made, and that is former NASCAR Cup Series star and two-time Cup Series winner at the track Too Tough to Tame, Greg Biffle, is going to serve as the honorary pace car driver for this Goodyear 400 at Darlington Raceway coming up here on the 6th. Former champion of the NASCAR Xfinity Series and Craftsman Truck Series will lead the field to green during the cornerstone event of this official throwback weekend for NASCAR.
All right, we do have a little bit more here to share with you as we preview the Cup Series. And we've already given you most of the details about the track. Okay, they do say the one-of-the-kind track where cars and stars celebrate the sport's previous eras. And that alludes to the throwback weekend that is going to be the highlight of Darlington Raceway this weekend. A handful of drivers could certainly get into the spirit by reviving the current championship situation. The past Darlington race winners, such as Brad Keselowski, Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, and Eric Jones, would love to hoist their first trophy of this season. And that's the kind of throwback weekend that they want. So pretty exciting. Because I do think this throwback weekend, it's always great to have a throwback car go to Victory Lane.
It certainly would be. And talking about Keselowski, he is a two-time and defending spring race winner at Darlington, having earned his first and only victory so far as a team owner, driving that number 6 Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing Ford last April. Now, Briscoe's win at last fall was also very significant. Perhaps the most clutch performance of his NASCAR Cup Series career, as he took the win in the regular season finale to earn himself a playoff position. I mean, no better time to win than when everything's on the line.
It was an exciting finish to watch. Now, coming into the weekend, the 2012 Series champion Brad Keselowski is ranked an uncharacteristic 30th place in the championship point standings without a single top 10 or any laps led. However, he holds the highest average finish at 6.4 in the last 5 Darlington races. And it is the first of 3 straight venues, also Bristol, Tennessee, and Talladega, Alabama, where he is a multiple race winner. So maybe that will be enough to turn the ship around for Brad Keselowski this weekend at Darlington and get that first win of the season.
I certainly hope so. There's a lot of drivers I'd like to see win. Brad Keselowski is one of them. But now Briscoe's the one that claimed the Daytona 500 pole position in his first outing, driving for that number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. He's currently ranked 12th in the driver's standings. He has 3 top 10s, but looking to land his first trip to Victory Lane with the new organization. A win this weekend would mark the first time that a driver has won consecutive Darlington races since the track's honorary pace car driver, Greg Biffle, did it in 2005 and 2006. And we talked about that, how tough it is to put any kind of streak together at Darlington, even for top organizations.
Yes, but wouldn't it be cool for him to do it when Greg Biffle is at the track?
That would indeed, yes.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Okay, now coming into the weekend, all 4 Hendrick Motorsports drivers are ranked among the top 5 in the championship point standings. It's led by the Daytona 500 winner, William Byron. He holds a 16-point lead on Homestead Miami race winner, Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott, the 2020 series champion, is third. He's 32 points behind Byron. And Alex Bowman is ranked fifth, only 35 points off Byron's pace. So really some interesting stats there. It's a tight battle among those top 5 drivers.
And just to add some more momentum to the Hendrick Motorsports side of it, Byron and Larson swept the 2023 races at Darlington, and Larson holds the highest driver rating at 108.1 at this track. The 2021 series champ Larson has 7 top 5 finishes, as well as 9 top 10s, and he's going to be driving possibly considered one of the best throwback number 5 paint schemes this weekend, as he honors another former Hendrick champion, NASCAR Hall of Famer Terry Labonte. And I got to say, HMS, especially with some of these Terry Labonte ones, they have put some serious thought and whatnot behind these throwbacks. I think they're at the top of everybody's favorite every year.
And let me just give Jayskis a shout out here. They always have photos of all of the throwback cars over at their website, jayskis.com. If you want to see those throwback cars, some of you might want to be just surprised and see them at the track. But if you want to get a sneak peek, you can check it out at Jayskis. Okay, now last week's Martinsville Speedway winners, JGR's Denny Hamlin, is also expected to be a major player this weekend at Darlington, where he has wins. He has 4 wins and 4 runner-up finishes. He has 13 top 5s. He has 18 top 10s, and an average finish of 8.2 are all top marks in the series among the active drivers. So Denny Hamlin may be the driver to watch this weekend at Darlington. But you never know what can happen at Darlington.
Most certainly not. We've seen that in multiple ways. We did highlight already Christopher Bell. If he were to pick up a 4th win and add to his 3 already in these first 8 races, would tie Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon, who did it in 97. Now, he is coming off his best career work at Darlington, which was 3rd in last fall's race. So look for Bell to try and make some more history.
Yes, indeed. That's Denny Hamlin's teammate. So JGR just might be on to something there at Darlington. Now let's add to the mix reigning series champion Joey Logano. He's led 260 laps. That's the second this season, only to Hamlin's 298. But he still hasn't recorded a top 5 finish, as we've documented already. The driver of the number 22 Team Penske Ford won at Darlington in 2022. So if you're a numbers person, the number 22 winning in 22 might have some significance, but this is 2025. So we'll see what happens.
And I think a lot of things we've covered kind of highlight this. It's some teams and drivers show domination, but you really can't dominate as Darlington, as the last 9 races been won by 9 different drivers. And the record for that is 11 from 2006 to 16. The driver who led the most laps, again, finished 25th or worse in 4 of the last 5. So it's almost like it's conflicting statistics. Be like, hey, this makes you really good, but hey, this doesn't. And they're covering both sides.
I think what it reflects, though, Jay, is why they call it the track too tough to tame, because it is very, very hard to win at Darlington. So practice is set for 12:45 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, followed by the Busch Light Pole qualifying at 1:40 p.m. Eastern. Again, it will be on Amazon Prime, airing both sessions. And Toyota has won the pole position for the last 4 Daytona races, so that's something to watch during qualifying. Now, 2311 Racing's Tyler Reddick is the defending pole setter, and I think he's also a driver to keep your eye on this weekend. So a lot to watch here at Darlington Raceway this weekend. Any other thoughts you want to give?
Yeah, you're right. There's a lot to keep your eye on and things to watch. Talking about drivers to watch, but these paint schemes, and you mentioned it, and I spend a good amount of time going on Jayski and scrolling through these throwbacks, not just from this year, not just from the last year, all these previous years, I love looking through them and the memories. And Sharon, I know there's one, I think it's in the Xfinity series, Matt DiBenedetto doing the throwback to Jeff Burton in the X sidecar.
Yes.
If you haven't seen that, yeah. You like that one, don't you?
Something with you. I think I've done this before.
Yep. Matt DiBenedetto's car in the Xfinity series looks a lot like that, and it's a good-looking paint scheme.
It is. It's one of a lot of Jeff Burton fans love this paint scheme. So watch for it on the track this weekend.
Overall, man, Darlington, like you said, it track too tough to tame, and the statistics and stats show it. It's somebody that has dominance, but yet they don't. They could win, but yet they can't.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's another track where you're going to have drivers, and that's what makes this so interesting. Drivers, it's a bumping and banging kind of track. It's a short track. And some people are going to go home happy. Some people are going to go home. More are going to go home unhappy.
All right. I do have one last thing, Sharon, because I said I would pull something up throughout the show. And last time when I said I would, I didn't. So this time I wanted to not be a liar. We were talking about Ty. What's that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, talking about Ty Gibbs. I had to find the name and now let it pull up. Okay. Talking about Ty Gibbs struggling a little bit this season, and I think this will be a hot topic come Monday, but Cheddar Smith has been named car chief for Ty Gibbs in the JGR number 54. And the reason I say it's a hot topic is it's not just that he's going into Ty Gibbs. He left, I'm going to use that term, left the number 7 Spire Motorsports car, I think it was, where he had gone with Rodney Childress from SHR over to that team. They have shown promise, and we're only 7 races in, and all of a sudden he left and went to JGR. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because that's as much as we actually know right now, is that it is official. He has left that team, gone over to JGR.
So that might be good news for Ty Gibbs, but maybe not so good news for Justin Haley. So
exactly.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I believe I don't even want to pick a race winner for this weekend. It's going to be the same at Talladega. It's hard to pick a winner for a track like Darlington.
This weekend, it really, when I was talking about it throughout the show, there's several that I would like to see from the emotional or historic breaking the winless streak. If I were going strictly on a bet and putting money on it and odds, I'd have to look at HMS, Kyle Larson, honestly. And that was one of the statistic that you had shared with them being in the top 5. I know last week we were talking about they actually technically had the top 4 spots, as there was one in a tie. But I knew they were having a good season. How good, I didn't realize. Just like with Fords, I knew they were struggling for finishes of how bad. I was surprised as we were covering that of how strong HMS has been this year. They're not winning every race and dominating per se, but they are very, very, very solid across the board. And that's tough with a 4-car team, I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So definitely a lot for fans to keep their eyes on. We hope that our previews kind of prepare you for what to watch for over race weekend. We did the Xfinity Series earlier. They're racing on Saturday. And we also did the ARCA West Series racing at Tucson Speedway this weekend on Saturday night. And then we also covered the ASA Stars National Tour racing at Dominion Raceway on Saturday night as well. So this is our NASCAR Cup Series. We want to say thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to tune in to Fan for Racing Radio here on YouTube. And we enjoy putting these together. We hope you enjoy it as much watching. So enjoy your race weekend. And we'll see you on the other side when we do all of our previews on Monday. And then also we do our Hot Topic Sound Off segment on Monday night as a live stream starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We would love to have you participate with us by being a part of our chat feature during the live broadcast. So that gives you a chance to chime in on Hot Topics and Sound Off as well. So please join us. We'll look forward to having Chris Crichton with us on our Hot Topic Sound Off. Sal Segala will help with the reviews on Monday as well. And Jay and I will be here to cover reviews as well as the Hot Topic Sound Off segment 2. I'm going to see if we can't find a guest to be with us. If we do have a guest, we'll have our guest interview. If not on Monday, then we'll do that maybe on Tuesday. But stay tuned for more news there. So take care, everybody. Go ahead, Jay.
With that, Sharon, too, I know I talked to you. I haven't officially agreed, but looking at next week of maybe doing some promotion for Fan for Racing as well as an opportunity. So after this weekend, I'll have some more details and confirmation, I'll put it that way, about something coming on next week, Wednesday, hopefully.
Yes, Jay will have the details for us, but are you going to be at the track this weekend too, Jay?
Now, if you noticed, I tried to skip over that. Remember, I said we got rained out. We were supposed to have the Hurricane Area Super Sprints. They've called it off. I don't know yet. I haven't seen if Why Not Motorsports Park has called off theirs at the House of Hook that Chris Crichton was talking about. So we are not racing. If you get the opportunity, head over there. But keep an eye on it there. We're hour and a half apart. They may be looking at the radar too and just trying not to make the call. But for the sprint cars coming from across the country, they made the call early. So yeah, unfortunately, that's that. But I do already have some other things planned, and that's where I said I was like, I'd kind of like to say drive to Virginia, but no, that's not going to happen. I will find something to do locally.
Okay, well, if you're one of the fans that have been sidelined by weather, as Jay has just mentioned, there is always plenty of short track racing available over at Flow Racing and Racing America. And I would encourage you to visit those sites if you're feeling the need for speed and if you want to watch some homegrown racing, that's the place to go.
Most certainly. But either way, have a good weekend. Enjoy whatever racing you get to watch or see or be a part of.
Okay, we'll see you on the other side in the next video. Take care, everybody.